Hello, good morning and welcome. Welcome to our workshop. Here we are. I'm going to share my screen, which is tips to overcome perfectionist tendencies to make running a household easier. Would love your input today. Please use the chat as we are going along. Share what is it that you're looking forward to learning today. Are you a perfectionist, or is somebody else in your household a perfectionist that is making it difficult for everyone to get along, and maybe for even anything to get done or to get started on projects? Because I know some people find that very difficult. They can't even start because it might not be perfect. So we're going to be talking about those sorts of things. So use the chat. And let us know where you're calling from and joining in from. Thank you, Mary Lou. She is my awesome virtual assistant that helps me run my business. Could not do it without her. Thank you, Mary Lou. She's joining us from the Philippines. So great to have her. We've got a few more people coming in. So use that chat to explain to us where you're joining from and what you're looking to learn today. And this session is being recorded. If you're watching on YouTube, please make a comment and ask any questions you've got coming on. Like, they just pop up into our inbox and I can reply to you as they come along. We did have had lots of people making those inquiries via that comments on YouTube. So please do that if you're watching the recording. We will put this on and share it with everybody in YouTube land, as well as we will send it to people that haven't had a chance to join us live today. But thank you again, everyone that has come along. Welcome to Bill again, Jade, Bridget, great to see you again. Hello, Leslie, great to see you. Let's keep on moving. Use that chat. Let's get interactive. So as I said, we will record the session today. Let us know where you're joining us from, what you're looking forward to learning, and do you find it difficult to know when something is good enough? You have done it to a good enough level. Is that something that you struggle with? Let us know in the comments. Let's keep on moving. Here we are. Our business, space and time, is all about how we use our space and time, and it's all about making conscious choices how we use our space and time. Not just going along with the flow, and we're really going to be talking a lot about that today because it's so important to know what is worth getting perfect and spending a lot of time on, and what is not so crucial to our daily lives, and we can just do it quickly and get it done. What's your intention today? And also I'm going to let you know how you can continue your organizing journey with us after today. These sessions are always great fun to come along to, but they it doesn't have to end here. Let's continue this journey together. Here I am. I'm Julie Cliff. I'm a professional organizer and declutter coach. I run a team of girls here in Melbourne that help declutter people's homes. I'm just trying to think what I'm doing today, going to help somebody in their apartment, decluttering a very, very small studio apartment. It's just all one room, helping declutter and organize there. Been helping people get organized for many, many years. I was an executive assistant and administrator for 20 years before finding a group of professional organizers and finding out this is a real thing that people do. We do go into people's homes and we do make a big difference as to how their lives run. I now, as I mentioned, have a team of organisers here in Melbourne, married with two teenage boys. So that's a little bit about me. But as I said, this is the workshop, Tips to Overcome Perfectionist Tendencies to Make Running a Household Easier. So we really want to have a look at our mindset and what we're thinking about perfectionism and how it's important to us. We're going to look at some practical strategies also today, look at self-compassion and see if we can make things a bit easier, be a bit easier on ourselves as well, not so derogatory and beating ourselves up because things aren't perfect, and make running a household more efficient. And also we want to have a look at how we can ease the challenges, as I said, to make it a more enjoyable experience running a household. So why this workshop? As I said, this is a new workshop that have put together. And again, thank you, Mary Lou, for helping put this whole set of slides together. As a young person, I tried to be a perfectionist, but found that it didn't sit with me very well. I didn't have the time, always doing things in a rush, just get it done and get on to the next thing. So consequently, I had a nickname, rough as guts Mick, which is not very nice for a small girl, but anyway, that was my nickname for a while. A Mick or a Mickey is a baby rabbit. I was always a very small person, haven't really grown a lot. But as I said, always in a hurry, no time for perfectionism, even though I would love to be a perfectionist, no time for it. So learnt to be able to get over those tendencies to want to be a perfectionist, but no real time for it. And also many of my clients are striving to get everything perfect in their home, make it look perfect, everything, the skirting boards, the bench tops, all these cleaning things, as well as the perfect containers and the matching baskets and those sorts of things. So we'll talk about that today, but also remembering all of this, we only have 168 hours a week. Once upon a time, back in the 50s, perhaps, if you were a stay-at-home housewife, we would have quite a lot of those hours to be organizing the home, making it look beautiful, making it look awesome, and to do things in a perfect way. But we've all got to go out and make money these days. Lifestyles have changed. We're often working full-time work, maybe multiple jobs. So there just isn't those hours to be able to put in of this housekeeping. But we're going to have a look at what the housekeeping items are for you. We're going to look at that very shortly and what things you really do want to continue doing. And if you want it to be an important part of your life, how do we make that happen within that 168 hours a week? Now, this is a personal thing. I've been getting quite worked up about it all morning talking about this. So I will get passionate. I don't mean to offend. There is no right or wrong way of doing something. I might say, don't do it in this particular way, or, it's a waste of time to do something in this particular way. What I'm wanting to say today is that, as I said, there's no right or wrong way of doing these things. But I want you to really have a good think about how we're doing things around the house and whether it's realistic and whether it's helping you get to your goals. As I said earlier, sometimes perfectionists don't even start on a task because they think, I'm not going to get it perfect, I won't even start. So the pantry ends up in a mess because, not everything's perfectly matching. Whereas if they just gave it a quick spruce up, line things up a little, put a few labels in, that would possibly be perfect enough. What is enough? And we just want to have a think about what's the easiest way to get some of these things done. Because as I mentioned, not everything is worth spending all our blood, sweat, and tears on. So that's why it's so personal and why I get fired up about it. As I said, I don't mean to offend. I apologize if I say something that sounds a bit rough today, but I'm going to just let it all out. So let's have a look before we get started on tips to overcome some of these tendencies on how having some of these things to get it all perfect, as the picture is on the right-hand side, all the pencils are lined up perfectly, all the paper clips, all the fold back clips, having everything look perfect in the house. Let's recognize the toll that it can have, striving for that, and have on our mental health and our physical well-being. We're just always constantly missing the mark if we've got the bar set really high, getting so passionate about it, the words aren't coming out. And we want to understand that the imperfection is a part of life. And getting everything perfect all the time isn't realistic and it's not achievable. And what is perfect anyway? And who said? Who said it's perfect? Who said that that's how it needs to be? I'm going to ask you that question quite a few times today. And the last dot point, or the star point on this page here, says striving for perfection leads to burnout and dissatisfaction because nothing is good enough, it feels like at times. So let's see if we can bring some gratefulness and some mindfulness into this. We'll talk about that as some of the tips looking after our health and well-being. So let's keep our eye on the prize today. And so why is it important to you? Why is getting things right, getting it perfect, why is it such an important thing to you? We're going to have a look at a task list very shortly of ways and things to think about within the household, which might help us move along here today. You know, running a household does take effort. It doesn't just happen. Some people find it much easier than others. Some find it very natural. Others, they have to work at it. So let's give you some tips today to help us, no matter where you are on this one. No one size fits all. You know, how I do something will be completely different to how some of my clients do things, and I'm sure it'll be different to how you do it, and different countries as well. We've got people joining us from all around the world today, and I'm sure it's very different for everybody. So we want to have a look at this flexible task list. I'm going to share it in a second. That's going to suit you and your family and your priorities. So let's have a look at this list, because we want to choose the things that are important to us so that we've got our eyes set on the right things when it comes to running a household. Let's go to this little link. All right, Mary Lou, you can see that list there. Just yell out if anyone can't see. Hopefully you can share. Yep, you can see it. Thank you very much. This is our family home task list, and I hope you received it yesterday or last evening, early this morning from Mary Lou. You should have received it in an email. So this list is just showing us hundreds of things. Let me scroll through daily tasks, weekly tasks, things to do a couple of times a month, and also monthly tasks and yearly tasks. So we will spend a little bit of time on this today, but really something for you to do yourself. Are these tasks important to you? Do you really want to make the bed every day? Is that an important thing for you to do, or is it just too difficult, takes too much effort to get everybody on board with that? Just another thing as well, I'm going to be talking to you today. We can get our family members on board later on, but really talking about you and overcoming your perfectionist tendencies. So let's think about how that works for you. Making the beds every day. Do you want to wipe down the kitchen counters and dining table every day? Do you need to wash the dishes and unload the dishwasher every day? Some of those things are probably a yes. Do you sweep or vacuum high traffic areas every day? I don't do that. We'd be lucky if it gets done once a week at my house. Is it something that's important to you? As you can see on the right-hand side of this table here, I would like you to be able to print it out later yourself and go through and say, yes, it is important. You could put a tick in the Y column. And what does your well done mean? So making the beds, good enough or our well done is that the doona is pulled up or the quilt is pulled up and it looks neat. That might be good enough. Or do you need it perfect? Do you need the hospital corners done and those sorts of things? How do you want to spend your 168 hours a week? You know, is that really perfect? Is it important? So go through all of these tasks and decide whether it's good for you to do. Or I would love you to go through and cross off half of this list that it's just not important at all. We have so many challenges in our life. I work with so many clients that are working themselves, full-time work. They're looking after somebody with a disability, or they have a disability themselves. They're looking after elderly clients. They've got so many things on. Let's see how many things off of this list can we get rid of. I want you to just pick your perfect and important tasks for you. What do you think about this list? Do you think it's going to be helpful for you? Let me know in the chat. So just print that off yourself later. And because this is a PDF file, you should just be able to highlight the items as I'm doing there and copy and paste them into your own document, your own Word document or Google Docs or something, and create your own list that you could tick off every week. Because when we know what we're trying to achieve and we've got it on a list, sometimes that just makes it so much easier. So that's the list that I wanted to show you to get really clear what's important in your life, what is worth making perfect, and what things don't need to do it all, or can you just give something a quick wipe down every day? Is that good enough? Really want you to have a good think about that. Here we are back onto our slides now, and Mary Lou, thank you very much for sharing that link. If you haven't got it in the email, Mary Lou has put the link in the chat, so have a look at that. Please share with me, what did you think of that list? Is that going to be helpful? Leslie says, I'm going to cross off making the bed daily and pop it in the weekends only when I change the sheets. Perfect. I love it, Leslie. Please do it. You are singing my praises. Good on you. Thank you very much. Share and share and share. Let us know in the comments. So we had a look at that little list. Let's go on to the next page. So that whole list, as we just said, is the task relevant to you? Who can we assign it to? Because somebody should be responsible for it. Doesn't have to be you. As I said, we're trying to get you organized, but I want you to delegate. We're going to be talking about delegating shortly. What is your definition of well done for all those tasks? Once a week, making the bed. Beautiful, Leslie. Could not be more happy with that. It's your choice, your freedom, and your ability to get along and collaborate and work with your family members. That's the idea of this. And you can add and take away tasks off of this list. So I really hope you find that task list handy. Let's just quickly fly through these ones. As we said, it's flexible. Have a good think about why you're doing it. What's your motivation behind it? And also moving beyond tradition. Just because grandma taught you how to make the bed in that particular way doesn't mean you have to do it now. It might not suit you and your family. A friend of mine was telling me growing up that they would, in another country, they would take all of their bedclothes off every single day, bash it with the broom, and then put the bed back together again. And I would think that that would probably take 10 or more minutes. You'd probably get better at it, I suppose, if you were doing it every day. But with some of those traditional things, if yes, you want to do it, go for it. Knock yourself out. But if it's just too hard, move beyond those traditions. Create your own traditions. And also have a good think about, as I said, why you're doing it, and come up with some intrinsic satisfaction for doing it in your way. I choose to do it in this way, and it's really satisfying for me. A lot of my workshop attendees over the years have told me that when it comes to household tasks, they find it so much easier when they know what the tasks are, and that's what we're doing here, and they set aside time for it. So we're going to talk about how to do that very shortly as well. And we're always taking purposeful action. We've chosen to do these tasks, and we're going to do it how we want to do. And please continue to share with us, as it says down the bottom with that little poll, what tasks are you going to delete from your to-do list? We'd love to hear from you. Let me have a quick sip before we start to get into the tips. So I'm glad we got started. I'm feeling like I'm getting into the groove here and really starting to explain to you how important this is and how I see it in my clients, that it holds them back so much when they're hanging on to things and doing them in a particular way that just don't suit them anymore. All right, tip number 1 is to set realistic expectations. So as we said, you set your standards, you set your, good enough or done well, instead of having everything perfect and not even attempting it to get it done. Prioritize those essential tasks above everything being flawless, and start with those essential tasks as well. I wrote a note this morning as I was getting ready, saying that, you know, that some people have told me, my clients have said that the kitchen needs to be perfect before their day begins. If I spent time every day, which I spend about half an hour every morning, sort of resetting the kitchen, getting it ready for the day, if I wanted it perfect, I'd probably need to spend another half an hour, so a whole hour, to clean it all down properly, put everything back in its places. And my house is pretty organized. And to do that before your day is even done, you just seem to be a little bit behind. You've spent more time on something that is a lower priority, and you could be out with your clients or spending time with your family. You could be spending on a more important task. So as I say, prioritize these essential tasks over everything being perfect. And really have a good think of that on that list. Which ones really do matter to you, and set some realistic expectations there. Good on you, Leslie. She's got another comment. He, sorry, not sure. Because I live alone, just my dirt and my mess, I think the most important thing on the daily list would be to put things away before bedtime, stop things from getting too far out of control. Leslie, I love that idea as well. Please keep sharing your ideas. I love them. And everybody else that's joining us, please give us some ideas with that as well. Every night at our house, as we are finishing up dinner, we all eat dinner together, the four of us. We all have 10 or 15 minutes after dinner to pack the dishwasher, empty the dish rack, wipe down the benches, wipe the dining room table. And as that's happening with me and my two boys, my husband's folding the washing, and then everyone heads off, takes their washing with them, and it looks pretty neat and tidy by the end of dinner time. So similar idea, Leslie, to have that idea, and you decide which tasks they might be that you want to do before you go to bed. You know, don't have a massive long list and you end up in bed at midnight or 1 o'clock. That might be a bit long, but I like the idea of giving yourself a bit of a goal that things are going to be put away before you head to bed. Beautiful idea. Keep the ideas coming. Tip 2 is to delegate tasks. As I said, we're talking to you about getting yourself organized and setting your expectations when it comes to managing the household, but would really love you to get your household on board, and also ask for help and delegate if you can't do it, or haven't got the time for it. And of course, other people in your household should be pulling their weight as well. It's not just your job. I often think when it comes to running a household, somebody sort of does need to be steering the ship. Otherwise, the wheels fall off. Not that ships have wheels, but delegate family members to help you out with different things. Like I've just explained, at my house, everybody helps to do the dishes and tidy up after dinner. My husband folds the washing so we can all put it away. But to get some other outside help if you need it as well. If you're finding you can't keep up with the cleaning because you're working a lot, or you're not feeling well yourself, you have a disability, find somebody that you can either pay or to swap tasks. There might be something that you can do for them. Do a bit of a barter, a bit of an exchange, get somebody else on board to help you out. Let me have a look at somebody just popped something in there. Oh, here we are. Leslie says the mental load is the biggest bugbear at work. Yes, that last dot point there says about lightens your mental load and fosters a sense of collaboration when we've got other people that can take on some tasks. When we're delegating tasks, though, we need to give them full responsibility for it. And perhaps we need to lower our expectations as to how it's going to be done. If I give our youngest son, Charlie, does the vacuuming and the sweeping at our house, he does a pretty good job. Is it perfect? No. Is it how my husband wants it done? No, but I'm not going to do it. So I'm very happy for Charlie to do it, happy to pay him to do it. And it's just not quite perfect, but I think it's good enough. I'm happy with the job that he's done, but I've delegated that whole job to him. And it's a bit difficult to say, here, can you stack the dishwasher, but then say, oh, you put the plates in the wrong way. Just be mindful of what you're expecting people to do and have a conversation about what you're expecting as well, and come to a compromise when you're getting outside help. Again, you might put your foot down and say it must be done this way, but sometimes, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. But as I said, there, it lightens your mental load. And Leslie completely agreed with that one as well, about delegating the task so you're not having to have it all in your head. And that task list should be good for you as well. If you've got it on a page ready to tick off, that's helpful. A client of mine has something drawn up like that, and she thinks that she does want to say clean the bathroom once a week, but she doesn't actually allocate it on a particular day. But she will get it done on one of those days during the week. And she's got it in front of her. She can easily see when it's done. She'll put a date. And some of those other household tasks, again, can just be taken off of your mind if it's on a list somewhere. So tip 3 is to establish routines and systems. Yes, systems. It was hiding behind everyone's beautiful faces. To make a time to do it. Mary Lou is about to pop in the chat, the link to this beautiful weekly planner of ours, which is on the right. Literally put it in the diary when you're going to be doing some of these tasks. Cleaning, organizing, shopping, meal planning. Again, it can move a little bit, like my client. She knows she's going to get it done this week. My Sunday, let me have a look at Sunday. I've got tasks in on Sunday. I've got, I might not be able to see it very well, but the first one is like, go for a run, cut up some fruit and make some banana bread, something like that. Clean the coffee machine, and then in the afternoon, clean the shower, and Charlie does the sweeping. So that's in my Google Calendar. I can move these up and down. I can move them around, but sometime on Sunday, those jobs will get done. Maybe it won't, but that won't be the end of the world. If I miss cleaning the shower once this week, we won't die. So get yourself a weekly planner and literally put it in the diary and make time for it. As I mentioned before, I've had a lot of people come to me at my workshops and say that they just feel so much lighter. Like Leslie said, the mental load lessens when you know when you need to do something, and there's less chance of going, oh, I don't feel like doing it, when it's just part of your routine. I always clean the shower on a Sunday, and I do it very easily, very quickly. Only takes 10 minutes to do the whole bathroom. Someone else might come and say it looks like a pigsty, but that's okay. They don't live here. That's how I've chosen to do it. So put it in the diary. As it says there, structured approach reduces stress and minimizes perfectionism, and making time for the task really does help your mental load. So get it in the diary. No, just out of interest, how often do you clean your shower? How often do you make your beds? Are you rethinking that now, or are you going to stick to your guns and stick to it? Bridget, hello, welcome. Awesome to have you here. I like the idea of everyone contributing to the household to lighten your mental, physical load. My question, do you have any ideas about allocating a job to everyone versus receiving pocket money? That's a really good one, and probably a whole workshop for another day. But as I said, I do pay Charlie to do the sweeping, because I think it's a good way for him to learn how to manage his money. He's bought some great things with his pocket money over the time. Other times I wouldn't buy what he wants to buy with his pocket money, but again, that's him, and he is learning how to use his pocket money. It's all down to personal choice with pocket money versus having to do things just for, as a part of the family. The kids my kids don't get paid to help me unpack the dishwasher and pack it and do the kitchen tidy up that we do every day. But I think it really is something that you need to work out as a family, what's going to work for you. And, are they motivated by money? Maybe they're not. It might be screen time. There might be lots of different ways we can get them to contribute and not necessarily pay them. So if somebody else that's joining us might have some ideas about that. What have you done with your family members over the time? Pop it in the chat and share it with Bridget. Let's look at the next tip, which is practice self-care. This is a very, very important one. As I've asked a number of times, how do you want to spend your 168 hours a week? If you're perfectly happy cleaning your house from top to toe and doing all of these household tasks, knock yourself out. But if you would like to spend some more time doing your exercise, doing hobbies, spending time with loved ones, prioritize them, again, get them in the diary to ensure that they happen. Because when we replenish our mojo by spending our time with people and doing other important and exciting and invigorating things, it makes coming home and doing the household tasks more fun. Because it should be fun and we should be happy because we're so lucky that we have a home to live in, that we have a lovely big bench top to wipe down, or a lot of these things sometimes we might be complaining about, but we should be very grateful for all these wonderful things we have in our home. So continuing on with this tip, a well cared for individual can manage a household more effectively. Again, if we're not stressed, if we're not overwhelmed, if it's well planned out, if we're looking after ourselves, if we're making some me time, we're going to be happier individuals overall and find managing the household much more enjoyable. Let me know, what's your favorite self-care practice? Pop it in the chat. Let me know. Bridget says, yeah, good idea with rewards about the screen time. Again, it doesn't have to be just money that we're getting people to join us and collaborate and help us do things around the home. It's a really interesting conversation about how to get people involved. Oh, lovely. Jade says she likes a nice bath. Beautiful. Marlou says, love walking with my husband and son. I would too, Mary Lou. Beautiful family of yours. Thank you for sharing. Let us know what else are your self-care practices. So tip number 5, embrace imperfections. So imperfections, missing the mark, mucking it up, failing, doing something incorrectly, getting it all wrong is all a part of life, and it's a really important part of learning. Taking risks, getting it wrong, failing. There's such great ways for us to learn, and particularly with kids as well. Comes to mind when I used to help in the classroom with my oldest son. He's 17, doing his last year of school this year. When he was in grade 1, I was in the classroom often. And I remember there was a young girl there that wouldn't put pen to paper or pencil to paper because her writing wouldn't be perfect enough. So rather than just me as a little person would be scrolling everywhere and nobody could read it, she didn't want anybody to see her handwriting because it wasn't perfect. So she didn't even start the activity. So that is something that to practice, to get it wrong, to fail, for it not to be correct would have been good for her to learn, and to learn that that's an important part of life, to getting better. You've got to practice to get better at it. Professional sports people aren't born that way. Anyone that's at the top of their game has practiced, they've failed. They're not perfect. They get it wrong all the time. This is something that we really need to embrace so that we can learn and understand and get better at something. Understand that imperfections don't define your worth as a homemaker. As I said, I choose to, just do this at this time, just sweep the floors once a week, whatever. Doesn't mean I'm a bad housekeeper. I think I'm awesome because I am doing it exactly as I want. So I think I'm awesome. So I hope you think you're awesome too, and can think of, as it says there, that imperfections don't define your worth as a homemaker. Embracing imperfections to reduce stress and increase contentment. We're saying before about us using gratitude and mindfulness about as we're doing our tasks, we're washing the dishes, we're being mindful, we're standing at the kitchen sink, we've made the time for it, we're being right in the moment, being so lucky we've got running water, it's hot running water, we have washing detergent to put in the sink, we've even got a dishwasher. We can reduce that stress and that overwhelm if we are in a moment of gratitude and in the moment of right now, in the mindfulness state. Have those tips there. Tip number 5, has that been helpful for you to embrace your imperfections? Get it wrong, doesn't matter. Sometimes it does matter if we get things wrong. There can be dire consequences, but possibly not so much when we're doing these household tasks. Got any other questions as we're going along? We've still got a few tips and we've still got 20 minutes or so we're doing well. Let me know, get some questions going. What haven't we looked at so far? Tip number 6 is to challenge your thoughts. Recognize perfectionist thoughts and question their necessity. So when they come up and go, it's just not good enough, I haven't done it well enough. Well, maybe you have done it well enough. Maybe it's perfect. Maybe it's just what you need to do. So be mindful of them as they come up and question it. As we say, allocate the time and energy to where it truly matters. There'll be some other things in your life that are much more important. And also let go of striving for perfection in non-essential areas. So really, when those things come up in your mind, or you've got that funny little voice on your shoulder going, you're not very good at this, that looks really bad, you could do it neater. It's like, well, I'm not going to do it neater. This is good enough for me. So challenge those thoughts. But sometimes that little thought might say something to you, go, okay, you are right. I do need to spend some more time on that. And if I spend a little bit more time on it now, that would save me time in the long run. And just for example, I mentioned before being rough as guts, Mick. I'd rather just stuff something in the linen press or the linen cupboard. But then when I come back the next time, it's all messy and I can't find anything. So I have taught myself. So I've challenged that thought of being in a rush. I taught myself to fold things neatly and put them in the linen press neatly, so that when I come back, it does look neat and tidy and it's right where it should be, so I can find things quickly. So you can look at it both ways, challenging those thoughts, but think about it for yourself and how that's going to work for you. Tip 7, practice self-compassion. Sorry, my words aren't coming out so well, but I'm so excited about this one. Practice self-compassion. Be kind and forgiving to yourself. Muck it up this time. Don't worry about it. Get it right next time. As I said, doing something in a different way, doing it completely differently, doing it at a different time of the day. Try some different things and, give yourself a pat on the back. Often, we don't get a pat on the back for things that we know that we are doing well. So really give yourself that pat on the back and practice self-compassion. Know that mistakes are a natural part of growing. We spoke about that before, getting better at something, we're practicing something. And treat yourself with compassion to improve your mental well-being. Again, saying nice things to yourself, praising yourself, encouraging yourself. And if you find this difficult, Google or use my favorite Chat GPT and write yourself a list of nice things to say when you've done something well, and nice things to say to yourself. Because if you've got some of these little voices going, that's not good enough, on your shoulder, you might have a little rebuttal on the other shoulder going, I've done it to the best of my ability. It is awesome. I am good enough. So come up with a little list of things you can say to yourself to practice your self-compassion for yourself. Do you have those little voices in your head that say not very nice things to you sometimes? Do you think this list would be helpful to practice saying to yourself so you can practice some self-compassion? Let me know what's something nice that you could say to yourself instead. Pop it in the chat. Seek support is tip number 8. Tip 8, seek support. As we mentioned before, reach out to family, friends, or support groups for encouragement. I haven't looked, but I reckon there probably is a perfectionist group or overcoming perfectionist Facebook group that you could get onto if you need some support and encouragement, or speak to a professional, a psychologist, your doctor, if you're thinking you might be sort of straying more over to like an OCD, my words just aren't coming out, OCD, and having, those thoughts going around, ruminating about them a lot. So reach out to a professional if you need help. As I said, this is just all general advice for me, from me as a professional organizer and what I have seen from my clients, but you may need some professional help. Reach out to somebody and get some support. Learn from others who have overcome perfectionism. Your mum might be a bit this way, or a friend or someone. You might be able to learn some tips from them. And also sharing your experiences can also help with a sense of community, and also get some strategies from them. What worked well? Get that support from other people that are maybe outside your immediate group. Look wider for some more support. So don't forget what this is all about. What is your ultimate goal? Embrace the imperfection to create a comfortable and functional space. So your home doesn't have to look like it's on Instagram. Not many homes actually do look like an Instagram perfect home. But if you do want it that way, you go for it. You put your head down, you put the work in, you get your system sorted out, you create the permanent homes, get your perfect matching containers, get the family on board. If you want it to be perfect at home and look it, absolutely go for it. But it can be a difficult thing to maintain, particularly if you've got other people in your household. I think it would be much easier if I just lived by myself. My home would look very different, but I've probably learned to let it go. I was very tempted to take a photo of the bedroom floor in my boys' bedrooms this morning. They do look like a pigsty, but they are teenagers. They're not expecting me to pick it up. They will tidy it up. They do know how to do it. I'm not worried that they haven't learned these skills. But being a perfectionist is not them. They are very laid back kids, and they are lovely human beings. They don't need a perfectionist mum, a professional organizer, and a declutter coach standing over them. You must clean your room. But again, if that's what you want to do, if you want your kids to have a tidy room, work it out with them, collaborate with them, and work it out with them. Is that your ultimate goal? We all do things so differently. It's so amazing that we can choose to do it however we want. The second star point there says shift your focus from perfectionism to an enjoyable and balanced household. As I said, I'm not going to stand at the bedroom door and tell the kids to clean up their space. I can't be bothered. I go and help people do that all the time. So they know how to do it. They can do it. And the third star point there, the goal is a harmonious home, not a flawlessly perfect one. So we've got some summary points coming up, and then I'm going to share what our next workshops are coming up. What have we missed today? Let me know what we missed or what was the aha moment. Share that. I'd love to hear from each person that we've got today. Let me know what's been the most helpful as we go through these summary points. So embrace imperfections and prioritize essential tasks realistically. Please have a go at that home task list. Again, it's in the chat there if you need it, or it was on the email that Mary Lou sent out last night, and I'm sure she'll include it when she sends out the recording tonight. So have a look at that task list, cross off everything that's not relevant to you, and really focus on those important ones. Share the responsibilities, establish a structured routine for reduced stress. And I put it in the diary like I do in my calendar on a Sunday. I'm going to do these jobs. I can move them around to some time during the day, or I might even move it to the next week. But I have a good idea what I'm going to do. I don't have to go, oh, what are those jobs that I'm going to do again today? They're already written down. Prioritize your well-being, challenge perfectionist thoughts, and practice self-compassion. Please be kind to yourself. Write that list of nice things to say to yourself. Don't forget to ask any other questions as we are finishing up here. What was your aha moment? What's been the most helpful today? And also, last couple of dot points for the summary. Seek support. As I say, it's a professional support, whether it's a counsellor, whether it's a psychologist, your doctor. There might be somebody you might need to speak to someone. You might realize that some of these things that you're doing are the result of either something that's been traumatic in your background or something like that. So if you think you need some help, reach out for it. Aim for a comfortable, functional household without the weight of perfection. Lovely. I'll just have a look at these last couple of comments before we move on to our workshops that are coming up. Leslie says, I think the most important thing I've found is to decide what my highest priority is and what I need versus what I can leave as a low priority, only done as good enough. I love it. So have a look at that list, choose your high priorities, get them done, and then have a look at those ones that are, we'll do them in a hurry, and that's good enough. Doesn't all have to be perfect. Thanks, Leslie. I love it. Love to hear other thoughts, what's been helpful for today. 2 weeks' time, we are going to have meal planning made easy. We tried to do this about 6 weeks ago. I think it was, Mary Lou, a few weeks ago. And it was just a few minutes before 10. All of a sudden, I heard a funny click over on my left here where all our IT equipment is. And the internet went out. And it wasn't just our internet, it was wider than that because I couldn't get any data at all. Like I couldn't even message Mary Lou to say that, we couldn't do the session, and she couldn't get online to tell people. So anyway, long story to say, meal planning made easy is back. We're going to do that on the 14th of September at 10 a.m. And looking forward to sharing some tips there to make meal planning easy. And another new workshop as well coming up in a few weeks' time on the 28th of September, same time, 10 o'clock Melbourne time, same as this one. Yes, same time as this one. I was just having a think because daylight saving will happen, but that's not for a few weeks yet. That'll be the one after this will be in daylight saving time, so we'll need to make note of that one. This one is tidy today, ready tomorrow. How to get organized for death and an emergency. So what's those important pieces of paper we should have somewhere? Does your husband know where your passwords are in case of an emergency? Or do you know where your will is? Do you know where your birth certificate is? Let's have a look at some of those things we can get organized for yourself and maybe some loved ones or somebody that you're caring for. That's in a couple of weeks' time on the 28th of September. As a thank you to you for joining us today, I'd love to offer you a 15-minute strategy call. Let's make a plan for your decluttering and organising journey. Send me an email, julie@spaceandtime.com.au to book that one in. I'm just going to go back to the chat. A couple of people. Thank you, Mary Lou. She's put the links in. Mary Lou's put the link into book for meal planning made easy and tidy today, and also for the discovery call. So have a look in the chat there. Where are we going? We've got a few minutes. That's pretty awesome. Has anyone else got any more questions before we wrap up, or any other thoughts or comments? Was there something that I missed? Anything else? Otherwise, if there's nothing else, we might finish up a bit early, but happy to continue asking and answering questions. Use the chat or unmute yourself. You're welcome, Leslie. She says, thank you. And Mary Lou, for your help. You are welcome. You are welcome. It's been a fun session, and I feel good that I've got all that out, because as I said, I find that it's so important, and my clients get so stuck when they're trying to do so much, trying to have the perfect household while they're looking after somebody that's unwell or working 3 jobs. There's just not enough hours in the day. So we really need to get those priorities sorted out. And as we said, there's quite a few things we need to put ahead of having things perfect, like our health, our well-being. So really hope some of those tips have been good for you today, so you can get on with doing those important things. All right, we might wrap up there. Doesn't seem to be any other questions. If you do have any, let me know. Just send me an email and we can answer those questions. Thank you all, and look forward to seeing you at the next session. Thanks. Bye for now.